Hey guys, I'm Chef Dean Max. Welcome back to my kitchen. Today we're going to do a simple Brussels sprouts dish. I know that so many of you probably hated Brussels sprouts as kids, but over the years we've seen so many creative things being done with Brussels sprouts and their amazing flavors that can be had from them if you use it in the right way. So stick with me and I'm going to show you one way, which I think you'll really like it. Click subscribe if you're not doing that already. Give me a thumbs up if you like this video and ring that bell and I'll keep you guys posted on what's going on in the future. So see you back in a second. Hey you guys, all right, welcome back. We're gonna start on this Brussels sprouts dish. I'm gonna start by, I always like to have meat in there. So like whether I'm roasting Brussels sprouts or if you guys wanna put these in your air fryer at home, that works too. Or if you just wanna sear them like we're doing now. We're gonna do this, it'll be quick. But if you do this at home in the air fryer, you can kind of cook all these other ingredients separately and then air fry your Brussels sprouts and toss them in at the end. So first I've got some sausage here. Now I'm using a Chinese sausage, tends to have a little sweetness to it. But I'm gonna put a little kind of Asian flair on mine with a little soy and sesame oil as well. So I'm gonna put these beautiful coins of Chinese sausage right into my pan here, just like that. Okay, and while that's cooking down, I'm going to get my mushrooms ready because you got to do this in the order of the way the things cook down. So those are going to cook down first. Our onions, because I'm using green onions, don't take as long to cook down, but mushrooms do. So what I'm going to do is I've got some button mushrooms here, super simple to deal with, and I'm just going to slice them down straight, okay? So I've rinsed these and trimmed them a little bit. And that's it. You don't have to have a fancy mushroom. These taste great. They add a lot of nice flavor to this dish. So, you know, don't feel like you have to have a super expensive mushroom. But you should be eating mushrooms. Mushrooms are good for you. And I love the flavor that they add to dishes. Some people don't like mushrooms. If you don't like mushrooms, leave it out. So it's not an integral part of this recipe that's going to really ruin the recipe without it. I just add them in the fridge, and it's almost like, you know, cooking what Dean's got in his fridge, right? And it's almost like that because I'll pick things that work together, and I do that by, you know that things are going to need texture. We're going to need earthiness, spiciness, sweetness, meatiness, right? So with this, mushrooms actually add a meatiness. So if you, and an earthiness, but more meatiness. So if you are a vegan, you could really do this without the sausage and just do it with the mushrooms as your meat. So, but those of us who love meat, you can use sausage. Now, like I said, this is Chinese sausage. You don't have to use Chinese sausage. You can add, let me grab one of these so I can saute this in my pan. Now, the fat's coming off of this, and I'm going to add a little bit of sesame oil as well. So I put like a good teaspoon or so, maybe a tablespoon of toasted sesame oil in the beginning like this, and I'm going to put my mushrooms as well. So what I want to do is sweat down the mushrooms and this sausage together. Now the cool part about those two is the marriage between these two is that the mushrooms are going to suck moisture in. They don't have a lot of water in them. And the sausage is going to give moisture out, juice and fat, right? So your mushrooms are almost, as they're cooking down, are going to start sucking that in. Now we're putting soy in this, so I'm not going to add a lot of salt in the beginning. And we have our sausage too, which has a little salt in it. But I'm going to add just a touch. So just a nice little pinch, I would say half of a teaspoon, okay? Now, the other ingredients we're going to start to work on chopping with our green onions. I also have my Brussels sprouts here. Now the Brussels sprouts, if they're this size, I just cut them in half. If they're really big ones, you can quarter them. And if they're really tiny ones, you can leave them whole. I just cut the root off, and then I cut it in half. Make sure you wash them really good, and that's it. The rest of them I've already chopped ahead, so you didn't have to wait and watch me do that. And then we're gonna add in our green onions. So our green onions, we're just gonna trim the tops, trim the roots, right? And then I'm going to lay this flat, and I'm going to do little coins out of this. So I'm going to turn it on an angle here so it doesn't go all over my floor because it's going to lean forward. Okay? And I slice these onions down like this. You can see these beautiful coins of green onion. And like I said, the green onion, like most dishes that you're going to find that green onion in, you don't cook it down. It's not like a, why do we cook down onions in the beginning but not green onions, is because green onions aren't as watery, right? They have water in them, don't get me wrong, but when you cook them, they're not going to give off tons of water. So we don't need to worry about putting them in early. We can put those in towards the end of the dish, okay? With this, I just want to like cook this nice. You can see my mushrooms are starting to wilt nicely, right? The water that's coming off of all of this is steaming off. So what it's causing is this dish is not going to stick and burn, which is crucial, right? And now, what would you serve this dish with? I would serve this with grilled pork chops. I would serve it with a nice steak. So get yourself a nice big steak and grill that and then slice it. The beauty of this is what you should be doing at home now, and even with the price of meats out there, is eat less meat. So buy 1 pound of a 1 pound piece of meat for the whole family. It's not just for one person. So each person's only going to get 3 or 4 slices of that. This has sausage in it. You don't even really need to do that. You could serve this with a side dish of rice, and this is like meatiness enough, and it's a lot of vegetables as well. So if you really are a big meat eater, then you could put chicken too. You could do nice roasted chicken breast with this, would be really good too, and serve that on top of all this. Okay. So as this cooks down like this, I want to add a little spice. So I'm going to add in some Sambal, and I'll click the link on there so you guys can link right to the internet and buy this, or at least see what it is. Right? I'm going to put 2 teaspoons of that, because this is really, has a nice chilliness, but there's no garlic in that. It's just good chili flavor. And it's spicy, but not overly so. It's a nice balance of spice, which is what I love about it, okay? And as this cooks, we're gonna add in our Brussels sprouts, because the Brussels sprouts are what takes the longest, okay? So we're gonna add these Brussels sprouts in. Turn up our heat. So we were probably at a medium heat. Now we're gonna go kind of harder, because I want to like cook this juice that's in here out completely, let that steam out. And I want, well, while it's doing that, these Brussels sprouts are gonna steam. But for those of you who grew up in the 70s and early 80s, right, and you had your parents and all, and I don't know what TV shows they were watching at that time or recipes they were reading, but my mom and a lot of friends of mine's mom always served those Brussels sprouts always steamed. And they have no value steamed. I'm telling you, the worst flavor if you just steam a Brussels sprout. But when you char it, when you put a little crunch on it, or you deep fry them, or you roast them in the oven, or you put them in an air fryer, or you char them in a pan like this, the flavor that you get is so much nicer. So if you think you don't like Brussels sprouts, try this dish first and then let me know what you think after. So with this, I want to char this now a little bit longer. So this is going to have to char about, I would say, 4 to 5 minutes, because we really want to cook these Brussels sprouts hard, okay, and get a nice sear on them. So I'll see you back in 5 minutes. All right, guys, it's about 5 minutes later now. You can see this is starting to char up, and the Brussels sprouts have kind of really like seared down a little bit. Some of them have a nice char on them. Some of the sausage has a nice char on it as well. On the sausage, you can use whatever you have. If you have beef sausage or pork sausage, whatever your favorite is, use that. Now, one of the things that does make a difference with the Chinese sausage is the Chinese sausage you could probably get at your kind of your Asian grocery store. If you can't find it, and you don't want, or just want to use regular Italian sausage, what you need is some sweetness, because this sausage has like a little bit of sweetness already in it. So I would say I'm going to put a touch of honey in this, but you guys would put a little bit more, because you're not going to have that. I'm also going to put some black pepper, okay? And I'm going to put the green onions in right now, okay? So we're going to start to cook the green onions in there, okay? And while the green onions cook in there, I'm going to chop up my cilantro, and I'm going to put my cilantro in there. You know, you guys have seen me talk about cilantro, cutting it too much and, you know, just really cutting it down to a paste. We don't want to do that. We just want to cut it up. If you find any stems when you're cutting like that, just put them to the side like that. And then you cut this up like that, and that's done. See? Very simple, right? I'm going to put those in too, and that's it. Now, we can move that around. We want to keep this going. Okay, and I do want this to char, so let me see that. I want this to char, so I don't want to like slow it down too much. I just turn it down just a touch, but that's it. Okay, and you have this beautiful. Now, with this, we can add more greens in this as well to make this like a healthier dish. Personally, what I'm going to add is some arugula, which I have. I like arugula because arugula also gives you a little bit of spiciness, right? And then I'm going to add a little bit of lemon juice. So this honey and lemon are going to give you sweet and sour. It's going to be really nice. Okay. And with this arugula, we just want to kind of lay it in there, and then we want to pick the heavy, hot stuff up from underneath and like lay it on top. Okay. And what that's going to do is it's going to cause it to cook lightly down. The Brussels sprouts are nice and charred. The sausage is fully cooked. The herbs have brought everything together. And the last thing I'm going to do is add a little soy sauce for flavor. So remember, we don't want to go overly soy on this. Boom, that's it. Now, if you like nuts, this is good with nuts. It's good with summer peanuts. It's good with walnuts in there as well. I like nuts sometimes with Brussels sprouts, but peanuts would be the best. That's always the best choice for this. But I know a lot of people are, you know, weird about peanuts now, or they just like, you know, have a ton of allergies, or they're worried about friends who have allergies. So, you know, they don't do that very often. So that's it. Look, you've got this beautiful now dish. Let me show you what this is going to look like, okay? Okay, we have our bowl here. And this is, you know, you can use this as a side dish. Sometimes, to be honest, when I'm trying to eat healthy, this is what I would eat for dinner. You know, I would have this, and I'd probably stay away from the rice because I was like, you know, not wanting to carb up too much. But with this, you got a beautiful, you got a beautiful dish. Look at this. Look how perfect that is. So let's take a taste of it now. The sweet honey with the soy and the lemon and the meatiness of that sausage, that pork sausage, and the charred Brussels sprouts. That's good. You guys got to try this at home. Really simple, very fast. We did this very quickly. So you guys can do this anytime. It's a good thing. Most of the stuff you can find or have very easily with your local grocery store. So give it a shot. Give me a thumbs up if you liked it. I'll see you back soon. I'm Chef Dean Max.